that battle right now, how do you weigh, especially two young guys, three young guys, however you kind of want to look at that, who's involved, how do you weigh sort of what maybe they can put on film right now versus where you see their ceiling and their potential when you try to decide who you're picking for this?
Yeah, I think that's, an interesting way to look at it because, I think that situation before with Mike and Peyton was a little bit different because of the age differences and the experience that Peyton had over Mike, and whereas you got two guys now that are very similar. They're both red shirts. Either one of them really played much last year, and so I think they're more at the same starting point than probably the previous situation. So I think that's, but to be honest, that's part of the evaluation because at the end of the day, we're just going to pick the guy that we think gives us the best chance to win. That's the bottom line. And so you got to be able to, you have a long season. You have a very challenging first one. The thing that situation that you just addressed had was a little bit more of a ramp up opportunity in that season's progression than what you have, and now you're going to have someone going against one of the top teams in the nation right out of the gate. So, but at the same time, when you go through and evaluate and look at their performance, and we have a big scrimmage coming up, this weekend is going to be important, and really truly the most amount of game-like reps in one setting that we've had yet. For the full fall camp, we've had several now. We call them team move the ball, where you're playing, put the ball down, just playing football. And so they've had several of those, but this will be the most we'll have on Saturday. So really looking forward to seeing that and seeing how they perform in those situations. That's game-like, and stuff. So, but yeah, I think as part of one of the equational factors is, okay, who you project to be able to have the biggest growth, as we get into games 4, 5, and 6, as well. So, but obviously, guys are competing really hard and spend a lot of time in the quarterback meetings, on purpose, and just want to see them in all those settings and on the field, off the field, and everything that they do and how they prepare, and that's all part of the equation.
Mike, have you started narrowing down the reps of guys as the guys started kind of, at quarterback in terms of separating themselves yet, or are you still getting?
No, we have not. So it's an equal rotation at this point. So, basically just rotate, going with the ones and the twos is how they've been working, and that will continue.
Tom,
Very good.
Tom, when you have a quarterback battle that you have, how does it affect the install of the offense? How does the machinery of that work at this stage?
Yeah, I would say, I don't know that it changes it a lot. We basically would have followed the same install. Obviously because one thing that's nice about this time of year is you're getting the twos and the ones are getting an equal number of reps, numerically. So you don't feel like that you're, having to alter anything, and they're all are in the same system and everything in that regard. So now, obviously, once you decide who that person is going to be, you tailor it to the fine details to their strength and their skill set that they, but there are a lot of similarities between the two guys. And so in terms of their skill set strengths, so I think that's a positive without question. Talking about one versus another that would be dramatically different. So, but I think that the installation process is similar to what it would be, if you already had a guy named. And like as we look at this, we've already had 6 practices, and so number 7 will be tomorrow, and we'll be in full pads, and so a lot of game-like situations, even more so tomorrow than we've had in the previous 3 practices. Once we put pads on, and then get even more so on Saturday. So that, but for where we're kind of at as a whole offense and defense, our installation is pretty well complete at this point.
Seth and Jack.
Tom, we've seen Dexter out there throwing, in practice, and you've shared plenty of updates about his timeline. Just what have you seen from him since he's been back out on the field this fall, and is his timeline kind of still the same, hoping to get him back around midseason?
Yeah, I would say, I just was talking to him about this last night. He's further along than we thought, and he's further along than he thought he would be. And he had his final checkup, prior to fall camp, and that came back very positive. And so from that meeting that he had with his doctors, we felt like we could accelerate things for fall camp. And so he's been out there taking reps, and been feeling pretty good. I think there's no question, because there's so much with your lower body that affects your throwing, that he still had to kind of get, used to that, and has had some soreness, not even in his knee, but other areas, that you got to get ready, when you're going through the whole process of playing. So I would say for sure mid-season to maybe even a couple earlier than that, if possible. So the mid-season would be, I would say, a good projection, but it may even continue if he, I think progresses at the rate that he is currently. It could be maybe a game or two before that as well. So I know everybody's very pleased with where he's at, and he is too. But obviously hasn't had it where we just cut it loose yet. So that will be, in time. But he's just such an awesome young man. It's just everybody so, as teammates and coaches and everybody on our staff, you pull him for the kid because of what he's been through. But so yeah, he's just a little bit further ahead than we thought.
Jack and Al.
Yeah, Tom, we've talked about kind of the inexperience in the secondary. I guess, from your perspective, entering fall camp, is there anything different about the way that you approach coaching that position or coaching the defense when, you don't have guys like Taiwan or Monster who have kind of that pre-established knowledge and leadership of that whole area?
Yeah, I think that there's more coaches involved in the leadership by design because of that reason. Now Noah gives us a lot of experience and strong leadership. Because some of those other guys, even though they played a lot, I think all three of them, none of them were real verbal. In terms of just vocally leading in practice. Noah's probably more verbal than any of those three guys were. The most vocal guy that we lost was King Jones, without question. So, but in the secondary, I think Noah provides a lot of leadership. So, but I think our coaches knowing that, because obviously Noah plays a position that's at the Husky, which is our nickel spot. So he's closer to the line of scrimmage. And so those high safeties have to do a lot of communicating. So, Lewis Moore's really stepped up and continues to do so. And I think that's been huge for us. And a guy like Josh Eckleman, who's played a lot of football here and been here a lot, and Phil's got to continue to grow and mature and develop. So those guys we expect because they've been here, and we got the new guys that have joined us and been added to our team. So and you take the corner position that has a lot of new faces. JoJo just got here, right prior to the start of fall camp, and has already turned some heads and done some really good things. And so excited about him. But yeah, it's just since I've been here, it's the most new faces we've had in the secondary without question. But I think that from a difference to answer your question is really more coaches stepping in and providing that leadership as these guys kind of figure things out. But those guys are making plays, and that's what we expect to do. We got a lot more length we've had in the past in those positions. I think that's indicative of what we're trying to do to match their skill sets and what they can do best with what we're doing schematically.
Alec and Gwen.
Hi, Coach. Walt Bell's obviously entering his second season, I believe, as the offensive coordinator here. I know as OCs kind of develop in their timeline at a certain school, things progress in a positive direction. Have you seen some positive movement for the offense in terms of just overall knowledge of what you guys are trying to do?
I think so. I think that just even these last few practices, obviously offense is a little different than defense. And at the installation, usually defense is ahead right out of the gate, just because you can just fly around, play hard, disrupt everything, and things can happen positive on defense in that mindset. You do all that on offense, and it usually doesn't work out as well. So it's so much timing and execution, and everybody doing their job, working to get the offense executed. So because of it being year two of a lot of the same concepts, that's really been big for our guys, and I think there's a natural progression to happen because we got enough core guys back, that makes that a lot smoother without question. Again, just knowing our guys better and being able to adapt to them and just trying to figure it out, the strengths of who we are and what we're trying to do, and I do feel like we're making a lot of progress up front, with the O-line. So that to me is just has a good feel to it right now, and thought the last couple of practices really shown really good. During the team move the ball periods, being able to make some plays and have us show the ability to be explosive, and that's a big key for us. We got to be able to do that and take the pressure off just having to be so perfect in everything, and have 80-yard, 75-yard drives, and be able to create those explosive chunk plays, as we call them. And so I just think because of being I think he and Coach Tucker, even though Coach Tucker's new, they've worked together, for several years. So that was a natural, I think, just kind of creates some good working relationship that helps them be able to be pretty smooth in that regard. So I think our receivers are really, coming together as well and starting to make plays, which is good.
Go in then, Jim.
Hi, Coach. So last week you talked about implementing some more changes into fall camp, and can you see those affect 6 practices in?
I think so, because when you think about the way we've been practicing in regards to reps, with having so many guys, and this is both sides of the ball, to where you're maximizing, ones, twos, threes, and fours, and most many times in the past we haven't had really threes and fours, to really be able to have that to be a super productive way of practicing. And so I think just keep more guys involved, more guys getting reps and get sped up, the acceleration of our install, and because when you look at both sides, there's been mistakes without question, but there's not been a lot of glaring mistakes, and we feel like that there's, it kind of looks the way it's supposed to look, probably sooner than, and maybe that's a tribute to doing more in the summertime, which we've had more with the OTAs. It gives us more time to do that, and we take full advantage of that. But I do think that the way we're trying to structure things allows our guys to speed that up, and I think you'll see, I guess we'll know more on Saturday, but I feel good about where we are in the progression.
Jim, then Mike.
Tom, this is kind of off the season, more about what's been going on here of late. I'm talking about with the realignment, what's been good, what's bad, this and that, or the other thing. But for Indiana, for this program, is it actually a good thing to be out from under the sledgehammer of the Big Ten East every year, of having to know you have to do that, of now possibly having a little looser schedule and the opportunity to grow and not have to play the powerhouses every single year, to give the program a chance to grow?
Well, all I can say is this, is that, we're definitely focused on the future, and I don't control any of those decisions. But, the 3 that we've been playing every year since I've been here in our division are all ranked in the top 10 right now, as we speak. So that's constant, and they've been that way, for a long time. And you look historically, 3 of the top 10 programs in the entire history of college football. So to not have to play those 3, now you add in, I guess it's official now, so you add in an Oregon and Washington, who are really good football teams, and obviously USC has their tremendous tradition, UCLA, same thing. So you're definitely adding more good teams. But I think just the equitable distribution of your schedule, to be able to have that, is a positive thing without question. Yeah, it's a crazy time, huh? I mean, matter of fact, I was talking to my dad about it. It's just hard to believe that the teams are in the Big Ten now, compared to what it used to be when I was growing up. So, but yeah, it's an exciting time, and definitely change, and we're excited to be a part of it, and just anxious to continue to build a program here.
Mike and then Zach last one.
With the running back situation with Josh and Christian Turner, do you see them as having different skill sets complementing each other, or sort of, do you see them directly kind of competing for the same kind of reps and snaps? What do you kind of see from both?
Yeah, they're different. I think that they're different than Jalen. That's where the biggest difference is between those 2 guys. And even you mix in, Trent Allen's had a great fall camp. He just continues to make plays, and he's big, and he's got tremendous hands, and David Hollins has had his best camp he's had since he's been with us. So deep group, which I like a lot. And we know we've been through at the position those guys get hit a lot, and you gotta have several in that position. So, but Christian and Josh, the 2 older guys, I would say both have good combinations of power and speed, and I'm excited to see Christian continue to grow and develop in our system, and I think they can be a really good complement to one another without question, and just be able to maximize them and what we want to be able to do, as we said very openly and clearly about effectively running football, and so in order to do that, obviously starts up front, but you also have to have talented guys that can make something miss in space and be able to create those extra yards that you have in both the throw game and when you hand the ball off to them, and just getting the ball in as many ways as possible. So excited about adding Christian to that group, and I think Josh he's become that leader in that group, and has been so steady and consistent, and I just want to see that continue. So I think they'll be a good complement to one another. Yes.
Zach last one.
Forgive the obvious rhetorical question, but just health-wise, has anybody picked up something meaningful
Yeah, I would say first of all with Camper, you know, we're going through and based on workload and everything that we monitor for him, you know, we've had times where we had to try to, you know, protect that a little bit, but he's progressive and we rely a lot on strengths tests and those have been really, really good lately, which is great. And so I'm excited about where he's at and fully expect him to continue to progress through fall camp. And he's still wearing a blue jersey, you know, so he's not been released to be full war live yet, but he's progressing well. Matt Bedford would be the other one that came back and he's done a good job. He's not in a blue jersey because his injury was so early in the season a year ago. So that's the guys. Other than just your typical soft tissue things, you know, you got a guy here that's maybe missed a practice or two. We've been you know, there's been some of that, you know, so not everybody's been at every single practice, but I think overall it's been very positive for our guys, and this guy continue to, you know, do a great job of rehabbing when you have things, issues occur, and I like the structure of we go 3 days and then we have a regeneration day where they're not off, but they're coming in, lifting, watching film, and getting their bodies rested from running and having a practice, you know. So we're having obviously one of those today. So having 3 days on and then 1 day off is a really good flow. When you think about the season, that's how you play. You know, you practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then you have your walkthrough on Friday, and then you have your one off day, and then you have your one game day. So I think it's kind of a good flow for our guys.